Today is the day for undisputed. When so many other champions seem like they don't really want it, we have these two brave warriors giving it their all to get all the belts, all the marbles. Tonight, that's right, we got Ramirez versus Taylor at junior welterweight or super lightweight, however you want to say it. Before I get into the prediction of this video, go ahead and hit the thumbs up, sub, and hit the notification bell. That way you get updated when I drop the newest content like this. With that being said, let's get into the video. Now, my official predictions is now 51-8 and being correct. Last one being Canelo versus Billy Joe Saunders. You know, not really a big surprise on who won that fight, but it was surprising how Canelo won that fight. Now, for this fight right here, I pick Josh Taylor to win. However, before I get into that, I will say this. I do not like the way he looked on the scale. I think he looked very sunken in, and this is the worst I've seen his face look on the scale. So for Ramirez, the way that he can make this his advantage is work the body. He's a very good body puncher, but I'm going to tell y'all why I feel, unless Taylor has come into weight drain, which I don't think will be the case, but it is possible, looking at his face, why I don't think the body work that Ramirez does will be as crucial to Josh Taylor in this fight, or I should say devastating. Now again, before I get too deep, I want you to look at Josh Taylor. Look at his face. This again, like I said, could be reading into it too much, but this is the worst I've seen him look on the scale. Whereas when you look at Ramirez, he doesn't look as affected by the weight cut to make 140 pounds. Now, again, the problem with being weight drained or losing too much weight to make weight is you can lose endurance, you can lose power, and most of all, you lose durability. Now, the first place to take all that durability down is shots to the body. That is going to be the softest spot to go for, the most effective spot to go for. And if you go for it and do it good, you can weather down your opponent if they are in fact cutting too much weight. Now, just like cutting too much weight where you lose strength, endurance, speed, etc. as the fight goes on, working the body also does it. So for you as the guy who lost too much weight, it's now a double-edged sword. You're getting the effects of losing too much weight to make weight, and you're also getting the effects of the body work adding up, sapping your gas tank, sapping your energy, which leads to sapping your speed, your timing, your reaction, and your power. That to me is Ramirez's key to victory in this fight, is he's got to work the body, and he does that very well. However, if Taylor is 100%, I believe he could take all that body work all night long, because Regis Prograis to me is probably the best body puncher in that division at 140 pounds. And Taylor took his shots. He took it and he went on to beat him. My biggest concern with Josh Taylor is he can be beating you and he'll get baited into the way that you fight. Because I've always said this on other people's panels, on my own panels, when I was running them before the copyright strike, and etc. Josh Taylor has a tendency to where I feel like he has a big ego. An ego to the fact of where he will try to fight your way better than you fight it your own way. And my only problem with that is yes, you can get away with doing that, but you're only going to get away with it for so long. You're only going to be able to outdo somebody how they do what they do best for so long before you meet that person that you can't outdo them in their style of fighting. And then you can get yourself into a predicament, into a hole that you can't get out of. And that's what worries me about picking Josh Taylor to win this fight. The thing that worries me the most is I know if Josh Taylor stays on the back foot, he can outbox Ramirez all day. The biggest issue that I see with Ramirez is, in my opinion, he has one style. Come forward, and that's it. Yes, he has an arsenal. Yes, he can change up the way he throws his punches. But at the end of the day, he only has one style, and that's marching forward. He is not very adaptive, and he doesn't really change to what's in front of him. So Taylor, if he works off the back foot, I feel like he can out jab, out straight, Ramirez all night, break him down, and then put it on him late. But the issue I see with Taylor is, even if he is winning the fight on the back foot, if he gets hurt, if a good shot is landed, his ego will come into play and he will try to out Ramirez doing Ramirez against Ramirez. And that could be the downfall. That could be his biggest Achilles heel in this fight. Again, if Taylor boxes smart, I believe he will outbox Ramirez with ease. I don't see anything Ramirez can do to combat Josh Taylor moving around him, especially now that he has Ben Davidson, who was very defensive and mobile oriented. That is how he likes his guys to fight. So if Taylor comes in here and fights that type of fight, I believe it will be an easy night for him. I believe it'll be easy pickings. I know Ramirez will have his moments, but they will be far few and in between. They will be very limited. However, if he gets away from the game plan of being stay on the back foot, out jab, hit him with the straight. Yes, he can hit him with hooks and uppercuts, but he needs to limit that. Stay out of the pocket is the name of the game for this. Mid to far range, period. Do not get close range. If he does get baited in, do I think Ramirez can stop Josh Taylor? Again, I think that's contingent on how affected by the weight cut this time around he has been. I know he's talked about moving up, and I foresee him moving up to 147 pounds unless, say, Tio wins against Cambosa and they set that up. I don't think Josh Taylor will stay at 140 pounds. I don't think he can make the weight safely anymore. Whereas Ramirez, I could see him staying for another couple of fights before going up to 147 pounds. But if he does win and he chooses to go to 147 pounds, I don't see anything that would not make him successful at 147 pounds. So again, I see Josh Taylor being able to do this pretty easily because I don't see Ramirez really being adaptable. I don't really see him being able to fight off the back foot. I don't really see him being able to sit in mid-range to counter, to come in, to attack Josh Taylor. I see him trying to get into the pocket, and if Taylor stays out of the pocket, he'll do fine. The issue is, like I said earlier, not to sound repetitive, but I want to say it again, is the fact that if Ramirez gets him in the pocket and hurts him, Taylor is the type to want to trade, like he did with Prograde. Again, I see this as an easy fight, and a lot of people that disagree with me, and that's fine, and we'll find out. But I see this being a very easy night for Taylor if he fights smart. In my opinion, this win, this loss is all contingent on what Taylor does. Now, if Taylor is not affected by the weight cut and it does get into a pocket exchange, the question is, do I believe he could beat Ramirez in the pocket? And I'll say yes. I do not believe Ramirez is fast. I don't believe his body work, which he's very good at, is anywhere near as good as Prograde. And I don't think he hits as hard as Prograde. So I will say that I believe Prograde has really built Taylor to beat Ramirez and what Ramirez does, because I believe Regis Prograde could beat Ramirez. I really do. So, again, on paper and looking at past experiences, I believe Josh Taylor can beat Ramirez. I even believe he can beat him in the pocket as long as the weight cut has not affected him. Like I said, this is the worst I've ever seen him look as far as his face being sunk in, but it may be a non-factor. You won't know until they both start trading blows, until he starts getting hit in the stomach to see what type of effect it actually has on Taylor. I'm not going to assume that he's having issues by the weight cut because I haven't seen that in the past. I'm just stating his face looks the worst I've seen it look. The dude is big, and I really believe that if he wins, he should move up. Yes, you could do the Teofimo Lopez fight, but again, the more times that you cut weight after you're too big to make weight, the more risk you have of coming into that fight weight drain. So even though Tio would be a huge fight, I don't know if Taylor's body can continually make 140 pounds at this point. because every time he cuts, he's only going to look worse than the last time he did. Whereas, again, like I said earlier, Ramirez could definitely fight Tio at 140 pounds, no issue. He could fight a couple of more fights at 140 pounds, no issue, because he still looks very fresh on the scale. So, to come back full circle and to conclude this video, I pick Josh Taylor to win, more than likely by unanimous decision. I don't think he'll knock out Ramirez. I think Ramirez is very tough. I will say that I would not be surprised if he knocks out Ramirez. I don't see it likely. I see it being more of a cat and mouse and beating him on points as long as he sticks to the game plan. The flip side to it is there is a 30% chance that he gets baited into Ramirez's game plan because that's just his mentality, and he sits in the pocket with him. If he sits in the pocket with him, I still believe even in the pocket he could beat Ramirez. So, again, my pick, 12-round decision, Josh Taylor, easy peasy, but I would not be surprised if it turns into a war come around the mid to later rounds and he gets baited in. Let me know what y'all think in the comment section. I just think Josh Taylor's ring IQ is much higher than Ramirez's. To the Ramirez fans, I'm not counting Ramirez out. He does have a chance to win. I, just based on what I have seen, do not believe he can beat Josh Taylor. Again, let me know what y'all think in the comment section. Let's start up a debate.